He told her, "If anything happens to me, you'll know why." But for years, no one even asked where he'd gone. What detectives found inside an untouched laptop would change the legacy of everyone involved. It's late October, 2019, and the rain is relentless in Portland, Oregon. In a quietly upmarket neighborhood, a psychiatrist named Dr. Michael Hargrove walks every morning beside moss-draped sidewalks, carrying a battered canvas briefcase. Neighbors know him as polite, private, and mostly solitary. He rents a modest office downtown, handwritten diploma framed in the waiting area, a shelf lined with worn textbooks on trauma, schizophrenia, and the ethics of care. But beyond professional routine, Dr. Hargrove has a subtle reputation. Some patients call him a rescuer. Others say he's hard to reach. Letters of gratitude pile up in his old mailbox, alongside unanswered complaints. One patient, 19-year-old Avery Lambert, has been missing for 5 months after a string of erratic therapy sessions, panicked voicemails, and an abrupt cancellation of all future appointments. Friends recall Avery as animated, fiercely intelligent, prone to midnight texts about fragments of memory and a sense of being watched. Avery's disappearance barely raised concern outside her family. Her mother, Sharon, filed a well-documented missing persons report 3 weeks after last contact. Very unlike Avery to vanish with no word or trace, she insisted to police. Her last seen location was Dr. Hargrove's office. Her last sent email, a blank message, addressed to the psychiatrist. Subject line only read, "Help." Portland PD classified Avery as voluntarily missing. But Sharon continued searching, calling every known friend, trawling Avery's social feeds, posting flyers with her full photo and a direct plea. "Avery, please come home. We miss you. We need you." Dr. Hargrove maintained, in brief police interviews, that their sessions ended mutually due to Avery's regression into paranoia. He stated, "I am deeply saddened but beyond my scope to intervene," and suggested, "Avery needs space and proper resources." A note was added to Avery's file, marked, "Last therapist seen." Inside the lined walls of Hargrove's office, however, something festered. Colleagues would later recall how in the weeks after Avery vanished, Hargrove grew increasingly distracted, missing appointments, hurriedly packing away files, and once forgetting to lock his office computer, a rare security lapse. Few knew about the old silver laptop, tucked inside Hargrove's briefcase, password protected and rarely opened at work. It was a relic from his early days, storing confidential notes and patient emails, which he claimed were always backed up and encrypted. After Avery's disappearance, the laptop didn't leave the office for months. In May 2020, during a routine building inspection, the device was found abandoned under a filing cabinet, its screen scratched and battery dead. The new janitor, on her first day, left it in the lost and found. Police only took notice when Sharon called again, mentioning the missing laptop in a list of unanswered questions. That neglected device would soon become the axis on which truth turned. Detectives arrived at Dr. Hargrove's office with the recovered silver laptop, following Sharon's tip. The lock screen greeted them with an outdated, blurred family portrait. The psychiatrist with 2 children, his gaze tense. For years, police had considered him a background witness, but the laptop hinted at something he hadn't disclosed. Before anyone could examine the hard drive, Hargrove requested legal counsel and resigned abruptly from his practice. The story cracked open in local press. Missing teen linked to psychiatrist's secret files. Colleagues worried. Patients clamored for their records. Anxiety rippled through the Portland therapy community as privacy became a central fear. Sharon was granted supervised access. With detectives and an IT specialist, she watched as the system finally powered up. The desktop was studded with encrypted folders. One file, labeled Avery L., contained weeks of correspondence, emails, notes, private journal entries, even transcripts of audio messages Avery left between their last 10 appointments. The earliest message was hopeful. "Hi, Dr. Hargrove. It's Avery. Today I'm better, I think. Thanks for not giving up on me." But the tone changed. Weeks before she vanished, Avery wrote, "Do you ever hide things in your files? I think you remember things I forget." And later, "My mom says you're the only one who really listens. Please don't let them make me leave." There were gaps, days missing from the correspondence, but buried deeper was an encrypted subfolder titled Reflections. With court-ordered forensic software, police decrypted it. Inside, Hargrove's own therapy notes, sparse and clinical at first, then raw. Avery is obsessed with the idea of surveillance. She says strangers know everything about us. She's not delusional. Her insights cut close to staff secrets in this building. A map of Portland popped up, a scattering of pins around Avery's last known locations. One was tagged, Lambert House, watch for drop-off. Another, Bridge of Sighs. Meet? Avery's mother gasped. They live blocks from that bridge. Another audio file dated 2 days before Avery vanished. "I think someone's following me. If you don't hear back, just open your laptop. But it's not safe to talk here." Detectives paused to reflect. Was Avery truly paranoid, or could she have unearthed something threatening in her therapy process? Mental health cases rarely merge with technical forensic investigations, yet here, the boundary blurred. Hargrove's records weren't just observations. They suggested secret meetings, off-the-books drop-offs, and increasing anxiety over confidentiality breaches. The escalation hit a peak when a deleted draft was recovered. If Avery is gone, police must know. Her fears were not imaginary. She described staff movements accurately. Is someone inside tracking patients outside therapy? For the first time, Hargrove's own anxieties bled into official evidence. Sharon despaired at the possibility. Did my daughter really see something? Or did the process of therapy itself push her further away? Detectives had to consider all clues: Avery's feeling of being monitored, Hargrove's reluctance to share records, confusion over real versus perceived threats. The evidence told a story with two tension peaks: Avery's increasing messages about danger, and the psychiatrist's hidden doubts about his safety and her own. Portland's larger mental health system was forced to pause and reflect. How much trust is owed to clinicians? What happens when the line between support and secrecy blurs? Local journalists cited real cases of stolen laptops and missing patient data in healthcare, referencing HIPAA violations and public scandal. Sharon, now facing her child's absence and a city's spotlight, asked publicly, "Should our doctors be our only confidants, or does society owe patients more?" Portland, known for progressive healthcare but rarely for missing persons mysteries, found itself the nexus of a strange confluence: privacy, mental illness, and the overlooked danger of secrets stored in digital spaces. A citywide request for tips led nowhere. Avery's story was lost in a wider conversation about ethics and risk. Yet the unanswered correspondence between a psychiatrist and his missing patient had surfaced new questions about the responsibilities of those who guard our stories, and what can happen when those stories resurface in the darkest ways. It took weeks for forensic investigators to map the full history encrypted within Dr. Hargrove's laptop. As the techs parsed fragments of deleted conversations and reconstructed the digital correspondence, a pattern formed. Avery's warnings were sharper than anyone realized. "Don't trust anyone from the staff. Some of them have keys," read one message from 2 days before her disappearance. The psychiatrist's own logs, written in moments of late-night candor, revealed mounting anxiety, not simply about Avery's mental state, but about professional threats. She's right to fear them. Data leaks, colleagues prying. Her intuition surpasses clinical paranoia. Detectives called in the hospital's human resources, IT, and legal teams to review staff movements and access logs. The investigation uncovered unusual patterns: multiple after-hours entries in Hargrove's office, days prior to Avery's last visit. Security footage was fuzzy, but police logged at least one unidentified figure, face obscured by the flicker of hallway lights, entering after midnight. The same evening, Avery's phone was last active in the neighborhood. The climax came as authorities finally decrypted a hidden message in the Reflections subfolder. It was neither medical note nor stray email, but an untitled document, time-stamped hours after Avery vanished. It read, "If you find this, you'll know I tried." Avery believed the truth lived somewhere in here. It's not just her. Others have come to me, each with fragments. I couldn't protect them. I was watched, too. Afterward, Dr. Hargrove remained unreachable, refusing further interviews. His resignation letter simply stated, "For patient safety, this must end." I regret everything I didn't say. The medical board began an inquiry into his records and security lapses. As the truth unfolded, it became clear Avery had been on the edge of discovering something beyond her personal torment, a nexus of patient vulnerability, institutional secrecy, and the limits of psychiatric care. Her disappearance, framed by misunderstandings of paranoia and real digital surveillance, raised more questions than answers. Portland's police closed the case officially as missing with suspicious circumstances, assigning a cold case detective in the hope that continued public inquiry might surface new leads. The hospital pledged to overhaul its confidentiality protocols, adding encrypted backups and strict after-hours monitoring. Sharon attended every policy meeting, holding on to the hope that her child's warnings would force a reckoning. Avery was telling the truth. Someone needs to listen before another story ends like hers. As staff, family, and city officials reckoned with the reality of Avery's disappearance, the full dimension of trauma and secrecy that governs psychiatric practice became a matter of public debate, no longer hidden in the depths of an untouched laptop. In the months after the laptop's secrets were revealed, Portland's mental health community was shaken. Dr. Hargrove lost his medical license and vanished from public life. Hospital privacy protocols were rewritten, but Avery's case remains unsolved. Her mother continues to search, her face on flyers worn by endless rain. Patients became more hesitant, guarded with therapists. Every locked laptop became another liminal space for stories left unfinished. The long-term consequence wasn't just policy or institutional reform. It was a reckoning with trust. How fragile is the link between vulnerability and protection when professionals themselves can be overwhelmed by secrecy and human error? Avery's fate raises a haunting question for viewers. Where should the line be drawn between necessary confidentiality and the urgent sharing of a warning? Does protecting privacy sometimes put lives at risk? Or does opening every secret remove the safety net we rely on?
Don't forget to subscribe to Real Mystery Reports for more strange, dark, and profoundly human stories. New true mysteries every day.